Hello everybody and welcome back to another Phasmophobia video. And today we are going to go over zero evidence, zero sanity runs and how to execute them effectively. And this is going to be more focused on how to apply the knowledge and not necessarily a proper ghost guide. So if you want a concise rundown of ghost behavior, you can check out my video here. So after getting a good grasp on the game, mastering the art of evading the ghost, and now having learned all you need to know about ghost behavior, it's time to put your skills to the test. And I assume you all meet this requirement, but if you are new, you do have to be level 50 to create a custom difficulty, so just keep that in mind. But anyways, now we can just hop right in. So first, before you even hop into a game, you need to pick the right map. Any small map will work, but I advise against Point Hope unless you're going for the Lighthouse Keeper badge. And also the farmhouses, the ghost room can kind of be far away, so any of the smaller house maps will be just fine. I recommend Tanglewood, Edgefield, Woodwind, or Willow, and Ridgeview isn't bad, but I feel like the smaller the map the better. And after you set up your custom difficulty, picked your map, and hopped into a game, you'll want to grab a smudge stick, salt to be able to test for a wraith, and then I like to grab a flashlight, but you could easily pick up another smudge or something else. I know some people like to bring a motion sensor to test for the Raiju, but I just use my flashlight for that. Next, you'll want to go into the map and immediately run to your spot. And I'll be playing on Tanglewood, so for me, my spot would either be behind the car in the garage or behind the counter in the kitchen. For any map, it's really just a spot where you want to loot the ghost or get a long line of sight to watch for behavior. And while you're running to your spot, make sure you have your smudge out and be ready to let it rip in case you need to, and keep your ears open. Sometimes that'll let you catch an interaction, and it'll give you a good idea from where the ghost is going to hunt from. Just make sure the spot you're going to sit isn't in the ghost room. And when you get there, just make sure to throw down some salt in a hallway or a nearby doorway. And now we're going to wait for a hunt. I always like to listen for the front door when it closes so I know when it starts. And we will usually only be in here for one hunt, but if you want to stay in longer and double check the ghost, or knock out some objectives for fun, that's perfectly fine. Now, it's time to test for behavior. I like to wait a few seconds and listen to the ghost, and this allows me to rule out a lot of ghosts based on speed. After determining if it's a normal speed ghost or not, then I attract the ghost with the in-game voice and I turn on my equipment. This is where the first test comes in. If your equipment's on and your mic spamming and the ghost never detects you, it could be a yokai. In the case the ghost does come towards you, you'll want to sit back and have a good amount of time to look at the ghost. Watch the ghost's blinks, and take note if it's very visible like an Oni or hard to see like a phantom. Watch how it interacts with items. Is it throwing a lot of things or throwing a lot of things very far? It might be a Polty. Watch for a shapeshift. If it changes ghost models, then it's an Obake. If the breaker's on and you were standing far away from the ghost, did it have a huge burst of line of sight speed and then seem like it decelerated when it got closer? Then it might be a Jinn. Was the ghost hard to hear, or did you not even realize it was hunting? It could be a Myling, but this is always kind of hard to test on smaller maps. Make sure to check the salt after the hunt. If the ghost didn't step in it, then it's a wraith. If it's normal speed, did you turn on an electronic and the ghost speed up? And then when you turned it off, did it eventually return to normal speed? It could be a Raiju. And these are all things you need to keep in mind during this one hunt. And at this point, you should be left with these normal speed ghosts if all these tests seem to fail. Spirit, Mare, Demon, Banshee, Yurei, Onryo, Shade, Goryo, and technically a Mimic. Since we're only going to be in here for one hunt, unfortunately it kind of just comes down to a guessing game, but there are situational things that could point you in the right direction. If the ghost did any light breaking events, it could be a Mare. Did the ghost seem to follow you around or even start a hunt very close to you outside of the ghost room? It could be a Banshee. Did you notice any doors slam shut outside of a hunt and outside of a ghost event? It could be a Yurei. Did the ghost seemingly change behaviors before or after a hunt? It could be a Mimic. And I know all of these have a short window of opportunity, so this isn't something you can rely on, but just some things to keep in mind. At this point, you're just going to have to take your best guess and leave and start up the next game. And my go-to for these are always either going to be the Yurei, or sometimes I like to pick the Goryo whenever I'm feeling a bit bold. Now if the ghost was not normal speed, you'll be down to the Moroi, Revenant, Hantu, Deogen, Twins, They, and I guess the Mimic too, technically. Now, the not normal speed ghosts are pretty easy to identify once you really have them down and know the speeds. If it was insanely slow with no line of sight and super fast with line of sight, it's going to be a Revenant. If it was slightly slower or faster than normal speed, then it's going to be a Twins. If you heard it start to speed up and slow down seemingly randomly, or the breaker was off and you saw a cold breath coming from the ghost, then it's a Hantu. Just make sure you don't have any electronics on because it's easy to mistake this for a Raiju. If it came flying towards you and then it was super slow near you, then you know it's a Deogen. Now we're down to Moroi and Thay. I feel like these are super easy to mix up because the Moroi has different speeds and it can sometimes be very similar to other ghosts like the Thay. But one thing to note is that the Thay will not speed up with line of sight, but the Moroi will. Another note is after smudging the ghost, the Moroi will wander for 12 seconds before chasing the player again, while the standard time for every other ghost is 6 seconds. And there you go. Either you get it based on speed or behavior, but worst case scenario is you just guess and then go do another run. And these runs are very fast, and although they depend on how long it takes for the ghost to hunt, usually they're done within 2 minutes or less. And to summarize this, you're really just going in and figuring out the ghost based on auditory and visual cues. Go to your looping spot and listen to it to see if it's normal speed or fast. Watch the ghost for interesting behavior like blinks or poltergeist throws. See if it steps in salt or speeds up around equipment, and then hopefully you have it narrowed down or you get a lucky guess. Now, you are a beast at Phasmophobia who can guess a ghost without evidence or sanity. Also, enjoy all your money and XP too. I hope you found this video somewhat helpful, and thank you so much for watching.